Good morning, True Factor. We are here with just some headlines this morning. Not anything earth shattering this morning, except for maybe you might find a little earth shattering if your branch is closing. You might have to drive further to do your banking. Um, anyway, just a couple of headlines. One that could be a possible really great deal. If it turns about to be true, if it's not misinformation. I couldn't get confirmation on Times of Israel, but hearing that there's a possible pause, extended pause in Israel, that's always good, right? Anyway, let's get into some of these articles, guys, and we will start off. Yay. Alrighty. All of our articles are linked in a Wixit in the description in the box below. Here we have from AP from Yahoo News, Israel and Hamas look open to extending the truce on its final day with one more hostage swap plan. So I don't care if it's a pause for one day, if that one day turns out to be another day and another day and another day, and a day and one more day of pause, in my opinion, is a win-win for everyone, right? Israel and Hamas appeared open to extending a ceasefire in Gaza that is held at their deadliest and most destructive war, but it is set to expire after Monday, with a fourth exchange of militant-held hostages for Palestinians imprisoned by Israel planned for later in the day. Israel said it would extend the ceasefire by one day for every 10 additional hostages released. Hamas also said that it hopes to extend the four-day truce, which came into effect Friday after several weeks of indirect negotiations mediated by the United States, Qatar, and Egypt. Well, we could say we know the United States' hands was all in this, right? Anyway, but Israel also says it remains committed to crushing Hamas military capabilities and ending its 16-year rule over Gaza after its October 7th attack in southern Israel. That would likely mean expanding a ground offensive from devastated northern Gaza to the south, where hundreds of thousands of Palestinians have crammed onto United Nations shelters and where dire conditions persist. Despite the increased delivery of aid under the truce, Israel will resume its operations with full force as soon as the current deal expires if Hamas does not agree to further hostage releases, with the goal of eliminating the group and freeing the rest of the captives. Government spokesperson Ilan Levy told reporters on Monday that Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's office said negotiations are still underway over the last planned exchange, expected on Monday, without providing further details. Two Egyptian officials said talks are aimed at extending the ceasefire for another 4 days, with another saying that both sides have agreed in principle, but the official added that the violence in the occupied West Bank is complicating matters. With Hamas demanding an end to Israeli military raids, hundreds of Palestinians have been arrested and scores killed in clashes with Israeli forces since the war began. The officials spoke on a condition of anonymity because they were not authorized to brief the media. The release of dozens of people, mostly women and children, who were among the roughly 240 captured by Hamas and other militant groups on the October 7th raid that ignited the war, has rallied Israelis behind calls to return the rest of them. 62, hold on, hostages have been released, almost all during the current truce. Previously, one was also freed by Israeli forces, and two were found dead inside Gaza. We can get all the hostages back home. We have to keep pushing. Two relatives of Abigail Eden, a 4-year-old girl and dual Israeli-American citizen who was released Sunday, said in a statement. Hamas and other militias could still be holding up to 175 hostages, enough to potentially extend the ceasefire for 2.5 weeks, but those include a number of soldiers and militias are likely to make much greater demands for their release. A third release of hostages and prisoners on Sunday. Hamas freed 17 hostages, including 14 Israelis, and Israel released 39 Palestinian prisoners. The third such exchange under the truce. Most hostages appeared to be physically well, but 84-year-old Elma Avram was airlifted to Israeli Soroka Medical Center in a life-threatening condition because of inadequate care the hospital said. Abrams' daughter, Tali Amano, said that her mother was hours from death when she was brought to the hospital. Avram is currently sedated and has breathing tube, but Amano said she told her of a new great-grandchild who was born while she was in captivity. Avram suffered from several chronic conditions that required regular medication, but was stable before she was kidnapped, Amano said Monday. Also among those released Sunday were 3 Thai nationals, with a total of 17 free. Thailand said it was pursuing the safe return of 15 remaining Thai hostages, who were the largest group of non-Israeli held by the militias. Many Thais work in Israel, largely as farm laborers. The Palestinian prisoners released were mostly teenagers accused of throwing stones and firebombs during confrontations with Israeli forces of less serious offenses. Many Palestinians view prisoners held by Israel, including those implicated in attacks, as heroes resisting occupation. The freed hostages have mostly stayed out of the public eye, but details of their captivity have started to trickle out. Mervav Ravin, with whose 3 relatives were released on Friday, said they had been fed irregularly and lost weight. One report eating mainly bread and rice and sleeping on a makeshift bed of chairs pushed together. Hostages sometimes had to wait for hours to use the bathroom, she said. Respite in Gaza, more than 13,300 Palestinians have been killed since the war began. Roughly 2/3 of the women and minors, according to the health ministry. And Hamas ruled Gaza, which does not differentiate between civilians and combatants. More than 1,200 people have been killed on Israeli side, mostly civilians killed in the initial attack. At least 77 soldiers have been killed in Israeli ground offensive. The pause has given some respite to Gaza, 2.3 million people, after weeks of relentless Israeli bombardment that has driven 3/4 of the population from their homes and leveled entire neighborhoods. But many say it's not nearly enough. Anyway, the UN says the truce made it possible to scale up delivery of food, water, and medicine to the largest volume since the start of the war. So anyway, guys, there's a little bit more in here, but it's a very long read. But if we get 1 day, 2 days, however many days we can get of truce, I say pause or whatever it's called, we are blessed. And we just pray for all of the hostages to be released. And like I said, I did go to see if I could find anything in Israel to time of Israel to confirm that. But here is what is streaming. The economy minister threatens to vote against the controversial budget. Then we have Israel still cautiously optimistic about the 4th group of hostages being released today. The 4th hostage released held up as Hamas is seeking to gain separate mothers from children. In joint live chat on X, Elon Musk agrees with Netanyahu, Hamas must be destroyed. So, and here is this main article indicating setback. Israel's evaluating the list of hostages set to go free on Monday. So I don't see anything that actually confirms that they're actually talking of extending it to give it to confirm the AP from Yahoo. I wish I could, and we will hold on to it because it's a positive word, and we want peace and this pause and more hostages to be released. So I will we'll take it with a grain of salt, but we will hold on to it optimistically, right? All right. Then we also have for Yahoo News reporting here from the New York Times that the unsleeved and vulnerable children drive surge in deadly outbreaks. It's kind of a very troubling article, guys. You see those type of headlines. In Ghana, large outbreaks of diseases that primarily kill children are spreading around the world, a grim legacy of disruptions to the health systems during the 19 pandemic that have left more than 60 million children without a single dose of standard childhood sleevers. By midway through this, 47 countries were reporting serious measles outbreaks compared with 16 countries in June of 2020. Nigeria is currently facing the largest diphtheria outbreak in its history, with more than 17,000 suspected cases and nearly 600 deaths so far. 12 countries from Afghanistan to Zimbabwe are reporting circulating the polio virus. Many of the children who missed their sleevers have now aged out of routine immunization programs. So if they've aged out, that means they're not going to get it, right? So the so-called zero-dose children account for nearly half of all child deaths from this sleever preventable illness, according to Gavi, the organization that helps fund the sleever in low and middle income countries. An additional 85 million children are under immunized as a result of the pandemic. That is, they received only part of a standard course of several sleevers required to be fully protected from particular disease. The cost of the failure to reach those children is swiftly becoming clear. Deaths from measles rose 43% to 136,000 in 2022, compared with previous year, according to a new report from the World Health Organization and the Centers for Disease and Control and Prevention. The figures for 2023 indicate that the total could be twice as high again. So anyway, there's a lot in this little article, guys, but I'll tell you, you have to ask yourself, why are they pushing this? And if you were, not reading everything here, if you just looked at the headline, you might think that it was something else, right? Not necessarily because, deadly outbreaks. Come on, guys. We have, so many outbreaks taking place, and we've had so many warnings and things to that nature. And we've been seeing headlines everywhere about the crowded hospitals with children in Beijing over what they've been called a mysterious illness, right? We've been seeing this theme being pushed everywhere, right? And we have to know from what we witnessed during the pandemic that I would say that China is probably, if not one of the second, I say this with Israel, because I think a lot of Israel is been sleeved, but we're going to say that China's also got a lot of people over there that there has to be I would say maybe just a handful of people there that have not been vaxxed, right? Or sleeved, or whatever you want to call it. But this footage shows mask-wearing crowds piling into an overwhelmed Beijing hospital amid fears over the mystery pneumonia sweeping the country. But China insists, now looky here, this is huge. China insists that flu and usual winter bugs are to blame, not a new virus. That is huge headlines, guys. There's no new virus, right? It is no mystery. It's just the flu and usual winter bugs to blame. Alarming footage shows mask-wearing crowds inside China hospitals amid fears over a mystery pneumonia sweeping the country. Well, guys, come on. If you all of a sudden got sick and they're telling you there's some mystery disease, are you not probably going to panic and thinking you have something that, needs attended, run to the hospital? Most definitely. Most people would anyway. So, I'm sure that they are seeing a rush, a bombardment of people that are sick, thinking they have some mystery illness, right? Anyway, Beijing insists that the new virus is not to blame for the scenes of chaos, which have prompted officials to encourage residents to done covering, socially distance, and stay home if unwell. Instead, health chiefs have pinned the rise on flu and other routine bugs, with China now battling its first full winter without the sea-induced lockdowns. Wow, wow, wow. Local media has reported health facilities are being overwhelmed with sick children. However, China's health ministry claims it can cope with the spike in sickness, which sparked global panic last week when news of the situation emerged. Concerns led the World Health Organization in a rare public intervention to formally request further information from Beijing on the infections. Commentators highlighted the wave of sickness was eerily similar to the reports that emerged just prior to the sea, which China was accused of covering up. Well, again, now, guys, we they couldn't say anything else, because, like I said, we know that this is a very heavy populated, fixed country, I would say. So for them to have put out anything else, I think would have been, maybe sending up other red flags, right? Just saying. So I'm glad to see that, we're hearing a little bit of truth, I would say, here in this situation. There's flus, there's colds every year. I mean, guys, we see these flu bugs, we see these colds, then respiratory illnesses. In some instances, we see pneumonia, walk-in pneumonia, variances of pneumonia. We see these things, but yet people want to, put their own ugly little spin on it and make it bigger than what it is. I'm not going to read anymore. This article is in the Wixit if you choose to read it, but I wanted to let everyone know, for those people that may have been concerned, maybe not saying not to be concerned if that many people are getting sick. But, it does seem to be just normal things, guys, normal. As much as normal can be, right? Okay. Now, let's cover this article here, guys. This here is talking about 64, guys. Wrap your head around that number. 64 U.S. bank branches filed to shut down in a single week. Are you affected? Let's find out. I tell you, with all of the stuff that we've been covering about the UBS bank and things of that nature, and what happened in, I think it was Beijing and the China bank yesterday. I mean, just all of this stuff just keeps piling up, right? Well, here we have it right here in our own backyard, per se. Big branches such as the PNC Bank and JP Morgan Chase have filed to close several branches offices in multiple states amid a troubled pattern of rising branch shutdowns in recent years. Guys, if you're holding on to, things are going to get normal, think again. If they have electronic cash, per se, if everything goes electronic and there is no more, what do you want to call, physical, monetary, I guess that's the word, physical monetary, notes to be exchanged and that kind of thing, then, they don't need all these banks, right? Everything will be done on the computer. It'll be done in the air. There will be no need for ATMs. There will be no need, it's about control, right? And so even if you needed to go to a branch, now they're going to control where you have to go. Of course, we've got these 15-minute cities that they are trying to, gravitate to. So again, control, right? Control, guys. That's what it's all about. Anyway, between November 12th and the 18th, several banks filed to close branch locations with the PNC Bank with the most filings, according to data from the U.S. official of the Comptroller of the Currency. Pittsburgh-based PNC Bank filed for 19 branch closures, 5 in Pennsylvania, 4 in Illinois, 3 in Texas, 2 each in Alabama and Jersey, and 1 each in Indiana, Ohio, and Florida. JP Morgan Chase followed closely with 18 filings, 3 in Ohio, 2 each in Connecticut and South Carolina, and 1 each in 11 states, including New York, Illinois, Florida, and Massachusetts. Citizen Bank came in third with 8 branch closure filings, 6 in New York and 1 each in Massachusetts and Delaware. Minneapolis-based U.S. Bank filed for 7 closures, 3 in Tennessee and 1 each in Missouri, Wisconsin, Ohio, and Illinois. Bank of America made 5 filings, 2 in New York and 1 each in Texas, Massachusetts, and California. Citibank filed for 2 branch closures, and Sterling Bremer First National Bank of Hugh Springs, Windsor, FS, and LA, and Aroostook County, FSL, and LA. And altogether making filed to shut down 64 branches. Hey guys, I have got to go to the bathroom, so I will be right back. Sorry guys, I will try to be fast. I think my son is in the shower. I have to go downstairs, but I'll be right back, guys.
Whoa. Hi, everybody.
Okay, Matt. Did you talk?
No.
Oh man, I told Matt to come keep y'all company while I was downstairs because I had to go all the way downstairs. I'm sorry, guys. That morning coffee hit me. And my son was up here, so I had to run downstairs. Sorry. It happens. It happens when you're live and you're the only one man show, right? Anyway, so we see 64 branches. Close. Be keeping an eye on all of this stuff, guys. Take it each and every day, right? And just get up and knock it, go on about our business. Ain't nothing we can do about it, right? Just pray and leave it in God's hands. Anyway, this here from Newsweek, I thought this was rather crazy. I don't know how this came about, in my honest opinion. How do you have a man lying in a governor's office for 24 minutes on the floor dying? I don't know, guys. I have no clue, but let's find out. This is from Newsweek, okay? It says the head of Ron DeSantis election fraud unit, Peter Antonici, lay dying in Florida's governor office for 24 minutes last year, a report has revealed. According to public records sourced by Florida Bulldog, Antonici was filmed by security cameras dying in the governor's office in Florida State Capitol building for nearly a half an hour before he was noticed by staff. Antonici suffered a fatal heart attack in September 2022, 3 months after DeSantis appointed him as a director of the Office of Election Crimes and Security. He had previously served as a chief judge of the State Division of Administrative Hearings under DeSantis, having worked as an election supervisor and state attorney for former Governor Rick Scott. At the time of his death, DeSantis, who was running the Republican primary, issued a statement saying, "Casey, his wife, and I are deeply saddened by the passing of Peter Antonici, director of the Office of Election Crimes and Security. He was dedicated, tenacious, and assiduous public servant, lawyer, and respected professional, a friend to all in the state of Florida. He vigilantly sought to uphold the law throughout his lengthy career as a deputy attorney general, statewide prosecutor general counsel, supervisor of elections, and most recently as the newly appointed watchdog over Florida election security. His fighting passion will be missed, and his legacy will persist in the hearts and minds of many." Now, further details of his death have emerged in a report of Florida Department of Law Enforcement. The report said that Antonici left a meeting when he fell ill. It said approximately at 1:46, Mr. Antonici is observed standing up and walking out of a conference room, redacted, of course. He steadies himself on the left wall. The hall, redacted again, when he falls and appears to strike his head on the door on the redacted. There appeared to be no foul play to the room or hallway. Approximately at 2:10 p.m., the FDL com Mark Glass appears to notice Antonio down the hallway to his aide. It said then the police interviewed Glass as the FDLE commissioner and former deputy director of the Capitol Police said he left the meeting to speak to General Counsel Ryan Newman when he noticed Antonici. The report said Commissioner Glass stated when looking down the hallway, he observed what appeared to be dark slacks and black shoes laying on the ground, toes face down. Commissioner Glass stated he observed from the hip back and looked at General Counsel Newman, asking if that was Mr. Antonici, who was in the meeting. Commissioner Glass stated General Newman, and he ran over there immediately, rolled the subject over, and identified him as Mr. Antonici. Now, guys, I mean, I where's the urgency? If you see someone rolled over down, are you going to start asking a whole bunch of questions? Are you going to run into, trying to find out what the world is going on if you see someone fall down? Let me know in the comment section your reaction. If you saw somebody laying on the ground, toes down, whatever, if you're going to start asking questions or you're going to run into some type of emergency, assessment situation, or are we just going to start asking questions and just, and then think about it later? Hello, Ivory. How are you? So I don't know. I find this a little troubling that we're going to sit and ask questions when we see somebody on the ground versus just going into action. I don't know. There's just something about this that just doesn't make sense. Anyway, according to the 911 audio cited report, the unnamed caller told the 911 operators that Antonici was not awake and needed CPR. The report said police arrived at 2:11 and used an automated external defibrillator to try and save him. It added that at 2:34, the male subject was transported to Leon County Emergency Medical Services to Tallahassee Memorial Hospital, where he was pronounced deceased by medical staff. Wow. It also said he had a long history of heart disease and cardiac issues that resulted in several surgeries. Wow, guys. So that's that, obviously he had a history of it, but every second and minute counts when there's an emergency. So I think that's kind of just unusual. Maybe I react different than others, but I would not be asking questions. I don't think. I think I would just run in and try to assess, see who it was. But anyway, I'm very blessed, Ivory. Thank you. Okay, so then we have White House surveillance programs let law enforcement snoop on trillions of American phone records. This is from Breitbart. A secretive surveillance initiative managed by the White House grants law enforcement agencies unprecedented access to trillions of American phone records, raising significant privacy and legal concerns. Guys, we know that they listen into your phone call conversation. If you see like a little bitty thing up in the corner of your phone, while you're probably being recorded. I mean, I feel for the people that have to listen in and on my phone call conversations. They they have to be bored to death, and I'll tell you, listening to our prayers, my goodness, I think God is good. If people get to listen into our prayers, how can you not be touched, right? So I praise God. I thank God. They can listen into our phone call conversation all they want. Maybe they'll be touched and moved and changed by what they hear. Anyway, God is good. It's troubling, guys, in my opinion, to know that these things are taking place. It is. Where is our privacy? I tell you, just you know, you don't have anything to hide. I know you don't want them, invading your privacy, but again, what can you do? Yeah, I see that all the time on my phone too. Absolutely, Ivory. Absolutely. They're there. It's like, okay, God is good, right? Anyway. Let's see. Here we have from Newsweek. If it pops up here. I clicked on it. China is watching, the committee warns the US Congress about Beijing's magic weapon. Ha 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 ha, magic, right? A bipartisan congressional committee is set to warn members of the U.S. Congress on Monday about threats posed to American politics and society by the United Front system of China's ruling Communist Party. According to a memo shared with Newsweek, the document, the first on the subject, produced by the House Select Committee on Strategic Competition between the United States and Chinese Communist Party, will seek to inform Congress about the Beijing considers its magic weapon. Yeah, well, let's hear it, right? The Select Committee on China, led by Representative Mike Gallagher, a Republican from Wisconsin. And where did you come from, TT? Oh, my big fat cat. The Select Committee on China, led by Mike Gallagher and Raja Christian Morethi, I guess, a Democrat from Illinois, was established earlier this year with the sole aim of highlighting, don't you dare, of highlighting issues of concern to both Republicans and Democrats in particular. The group pledged to raise public awareness on the CCP's political influence in the United States. The United Front Work Department, which answers to the Communist Party Central Committee, oversees the broad spectrum of the party's institutionalized influence operations and intelligence activities targeting groups inside and outside of China. Where are you going, TT? Known collectively as the United Front Work, it's tasked to coordinate favorable narratives and organize events to promote them, identify and nullify challenges to the CCP rules, and ultimately advance the party's ideological, political, economic, and security interests globally. Through its United Front Work strategy, which Xi Jinping has called a magic weapon, the Chinese Communist Party uses every tool at its disposal, whether legal or illicit, to influence the American people and interfere in democratic societies. Gallagher, the committee chair, told Newsweek. The bipartisan group's memo would help Americans recognize resist the CCP's malign influence, he said. Murthy, I don't know. The committee's ranking member said that the United Front ecosystem was an important part of little understood aspect of the Chinese Communist Party misinformation, propaganda, and influence efforts both in the People's Republic of China and abroad. Anyway, Newsweek previously identified more than 600 United Front-linked civic groups registered as nonprofits in the United States. Only 2 are registered under the Foreign Agents Registration Act. Earlier this year, some of these groups, including one designated as a foreign mission by the U.S. State Department, mobilized pro-Beijing supporters to rally against President Tsai Ing-wen of Taiwan during her stopovers in New York and California. The Select Committee said Chinese diplomats also were said to be involved, according to the report at the time. This month, some of the same United Front organizations and their senior principals, what are you doing, buddy? Held welcome parades and staged counter protests during Chinese leader Xi's high-profile visit to San Francisco, also alleged with encouragement of China's official representatives. I just had the cat run and try to grab a hold of me to get up here in my chair, and he didn't make it. And of course, he landed his claws. So sorry for the scream, guys. Also allegedly with encouragement of Chinese official representatives. Meanwhile, the U.S. Justice Department has an open case against senior office holders of the American Changle Association, a Chinese cultural association, accused of hosting the undisclosed Chinese people station in New York City. China's embassy in D.C. didn't return a written request for comment before publication. There you go. Anyway, there's a little bit more, but kind of crazy, right? Anyway, then we also have here, guys, we're going to jump down here to this article from the Telegraph. Ukraine-Russia war, live U.S. Abrams tank seen on Battleground. An American-made Abrams tank has been seen on the front line in Ukraine. For the first image circulated from Ukraine suggests photos emerged on social media of 4 Ukrainian soldiers appearing to pose on top of an Abrams painted in green camouflage. The U.S. delivered 31 M1A1 Abrams to Kyiv in September, but they have not been seen in an action yet, with the lighter Western donated Bradleys and Leopards being used more often instead. Ukraine soldiers have been trained by U.S. Army to operate the Abrams, which were extensively in Iraq and Afghanistan. More of the tanks are likely being held back until weather conditions improve, analysts say. Ukraine has not commented on the photo. Wow. There you go, your hard-earned money and our equipment at work, right? Anyway, but then we also have 3 killed in a methane blast in Siberian mine. A methane blast at a diamond mine in Russia's remote Sakha Republic in Siberia killed 3 miners and injured 2 others, regional authorities said Monday. The accident occurred at the Udachny Lucky mine owned by Russian state diamond giant Alrosa. The site, one of the deepest open pit mines in the world, lies in the remote industrial town of Udachny and one of the coldest areas on the planet. Today, there was a methane outburst at the Udachny mine, Asin Nikolov, the regional governor said on Telegram. As a result of the explosion, 5 people were impacted. Unfortunately, 3 of them died, he said. Nikolov said 2 other people were hospitalized in the team of medics we sent to the remote town from the regional capital of Yakutsk had ordered serious work on strengthening industrial safety measures in the Republic enterprise. Alrosa said it would help the families of those miners who were killed. I express deepest condolences to the families and the close ones of those who died. Their families will be given material help, said Pavel Moravici, general director of Alrosa. The Soviet-era Udachny mine has a depth of around 630 meters. Accidents at the Russian mines and factories are relatively common due to an often lax approach to safety measures. So apparently, I guess it's not uncommon, but nobody wants to hear about blast, especially, when we've got this agenda that they're pushing so hard to get rid of all of this type of stuff. So, Anyway, all right. Also from Newsweek, guys. Hi there, Daryl. How are you, honey? Yelp again, this time with some headlines. Cookie recall as eating items shipped in the last 3 months could be fatal. Gift baskets have been hit by an urgent food recall after manufacturers discovered that some packets of raspberry cream cookies actually contained hazelnut cream, a potentially deadly allergen to those allergic to nuts. What is it? What are you making so much noise for? Yeah. The recall was issued on Friday, just a day after Thanksgiving, and many of the gift baskets are likely to have been purchased as treats for friends and families ahead of the holiday season. The affected products have been distributed across the U.S. for months, with affected batches being shipped as far as back as August. Wine Country Gift Baskets, part of the firm named Houdini Incorp, voluntarily recalled all of its gift baskets that contained the Akron Baking Company's raspberry cream filled cookies after labeling aerosol some cookie packages filled with hazelnut cream cookies instead. People allergic to nuts when the risk of serious of life-threatening allergic reaction if they consume these products, warned the company in its urgent food recall announcement, which was shared by the Food and Drug Administration. A note from the FDA's website explains that when a company announces a recall, market withdrawal, or safety alert, the FDA posts the company's announcement as a public service. Recalls are issued if there are concerns that food product may be harmful in some way. For example, just last week, cooks were warned of a ground beef recall hitting thousands of pounds of meat amid fears that it may be contaminated with a foreign object, while back in January, some 50,000 pounds of sausage products were recalled when the FSIS inspectors announced they could be infected with potentially deadly bacteria. Oh, they look yummy, don't they? Yummy and deadly, right? Anyway, it talks about the hazelnut tree is listed as one of the major food allergens. And basically, I think that's it, guys. But this article, here's a list, I think, of the ones that are being recalled. So if you have any of these, this list is listed in this article from Newsweek. I'm going to share this particular article just because maybe somebody doesn't go and check out the Wixit. You have it here. Yeah, our Brady's TT is in the house. His name is Tony Tiger, but I call him TT. And he is waiting to go outside. I probably ought to let him out, but we're almost done, so he can wait. And speaking of kitty, meow, meow, there is an article here from from End Time Headlines. Rescued kitten puts millions at risk for a rare form of rabies never seen before in Nebraska. An adorable stray kitten has sparked a huge rabies scare after being taken in by a Nebraska couple who the animal bit and scratched before dying. The black and white tuxedo kitten was rescued by Madeline and Rich Wall in Omaha after a friend found him with the Walls, naming the doomed kitty Stanley. Stanley barely weighed 2 pounds and had stopped eating and developed seizures when the Walls took him to the veterinarian, according to the Post. One of his pupils was also bigger than the other. The couple thought that the new furry friend was having a bad reaction to medication for ringworm. To the vet, suspected nearly 24 possible causes for Stanley's illness, but considered rabies a remote possibility and was stunned to discover that the cat had it. Stanley died the day after his trip to the vet. Urgent testing is now underway to see if the infected any of the 10 people he's estimated to have bitten or scratched, as well as other animals he may have come into contact with. If uncontained, health officials estimate the disease could spread and impact 7 million people in the central U.S. We haven't had a rabies in forever, said Sharon Mix, the vet who noted when she saw the kitten's pupils were different sizes. Genetic testing revealed that the kitten had a variant of rabies that is normally linked to raccoons east of the Appalachian and has never been seen before in Nebraska. Douglas County health officials Officials scrambled to vaccinate 1,000 raccoons in the local area to prevent more infection. Rabies is considered 100% fatal in humans if it is not treated before September, began County Health Director Lindsay Hughes told Nebraska Examiner. It's just something that can snowball very quickly. Well, maybe they'll do like Tennessee and start dropping this stuff, I don't know. Anyway, just a thought, right? The goal is to prevent this raccoon variant of rabies from establishing itself here in our area. This would cause a substantial impact if it happened and put many people in danger. If left uncontained, the CDC estimated the virus could expand in a 24-mile radius per year. Over 5 years, the rabies strain could spread to South Dakota, Minnesota, Iowa, Missouri, and Kansas, putting an estimated 7 million Americans at risk. We've never had a 9-alarm fire like this, said Richard Chipman, the coordinator of the National Rabies Program at the U.S. Department of Agriculture. Health officials contact traced 10 people, including the Walls, their friend and veterinary staffers, who had been scratched or bitten by Stanley, so they could get their 4 doses of rabies vaccine and 1 dose of human rabies immune globulin to neutralize the virus, a treatment that can cost up to $8,000 per person. A team of the state and federal officials spent 10 days trapping and vaccinating animals, 753 raccoons, 41 skunks, and 4 feral cats, and 1 red fox in the surrounding area. Officials also placed 18,000 vaccine packets out in the nature in a 5-mile radius to vaccinate wildlife they could not capture. As they chew on it, if they are bathing their mouth and tonsils with the vaccine, and that starts the immune reaction, Chipman said. Okay, guys. So if you remember, oh my goodness sakes, I don't know that I have access to it right this second. But I want to just remind everybody, I shared I was talking about a picture that I took. The picture didn't come out very well, but I shared, I'm going to lean in so you guys can see me without the glare. I shared and it was an immunization passport. Let me see if I can pull that up, guys, just by typing that in, because that would be awesome, wouldn't it? It ain't coming up so easily for me right now, but we'll see what happens, because I really want you guys to see. See if this is it. Hopefully this is it, guys. Oh, it is. I have it on my phone, so it's not like I couldn't access it. But all right, so let me share this back out, because I think this is hi there, Philip. How are you, brother? I think this is kind of, we were curious how all of this was going to play out. We even talked about the drop of all the rabies stuff in Tennessee there, but that was for animals, right? But here we have this common travel immunities, right? We're going to just call it, hold on, let's see if I can click on it, such as typhoid, hepatitis A, and rabies. It's not going to let me go to it like it did before. Let's see. Here we go. Typhoid is a sleever for international travel, right? We're going to click on each and every one of them, right? Because I want y'all to see this. And then the hepatitis A sleever it's scheduled for nationwide travel health services. Yeah, let's see if we can click on this and it just show you. There you go. There's all of the passport health information I think you need to know, guys. I'm going to this isn't in the Wixit right now, but I'll share it in the over here so you guys can check this out, because I think this little find was to me very informative. I didn't even know that this existed already. We've heard that that they were going to go to some kind of requirements for travel, for common travel. You see that common travel MUs. And that was hepatitis. We did typhoid is for international. Hepatitis A is for common travel. And so is rabies. There is a rabies lever that my husband, of course, if you guys remember the conversation we had, there was nothing that there was that anybody could recall, made. So I find this to be, so you're going to have to, again, have this for travel. And if we don't see a risk, I didn't share the link. Hold on, guys. Hopefully I copied it. We'll see here real soon. No, that's Newsweek. Hold on, guys. I have to get the link again. If we don't see that there, if there's not a, and this again, this cute little kitty having a rare form of rabies, right? So, they don't want you to take in strays, obviously, right? But here is, we're hopefully, we'll just click on this right here. So it'll take you to this. Because you don't really need the other, but looky here, guys. Here it is. I'm dropping it right here for you. I will try and pin if I can remember, guys. Sometimes I forget, I get so busy that I forget to put these in the comment in the section below, but it's important, I think. But if you don't have, scares, I guess you could say, if there's not a reason to get it, how can they, reason? How could they, how could there be a common reason for you to have this for travel, right? So anyway, God is good. We can see how this is lining up, So probably see a little more rabies stories in the headlines in the, coming days and weeks. But I really do. I mean, and I came across this passport health thing via a trip to our doctor's visit. It was there was a thing to scan posted in the doctor's office on the wall. So guys, if you find yourself in your doctor's office, look to see if you have this lovely passport available for common travel. Absolutely, Jeff. It is. And so, you just do some homework and research. Like I said, it was rather interesting to see that there. Anyway, God is good, right? All the time. We got to make sure we're doing our part and doing everything we can to stay informed and just following all the guidelines here, right? And looking at all that is coming to us. Anyway, God is so good, and He'll protect us, and He will take care of us. Anyway, I hope you guys found today's stream informative. If you can, just hit those thumbs up for me and share the stream out. Anyway, I love you guys, and I do, and I hope you all have a wonderful, blessed day. God is so good. Okay. Anyway, let's stop sharing. I hope you all have a wonderful day. God bless y'all, and we'll see y'all later. Bye.